I see this tweet that's been going viral the last few days. If they force us to choose between dogs and Muslims, would you say if they choose between the choice between dogs and Muslim is not a difficult one? Okay, got 45 million views. Do you really believe this, or are you rage baiting?
I think the answer is neither, and I think that you've got to understand. Thanks for having me, by the way. I live in fear of what is to come, and I actually think the story you just told is what drives me. I live in fear of a world where we are told that we have to live in a way different than we want. It used to be if you came to the United States, you integrated with our values, you love this country, and you said you wanted to be part of it. And we've had this issue in recent times where people are coming here, and now they're demanding that we change how we live. I was responding to a post by a Mamdani advisor, and obviously we've seen craziness happen in New York since he was elected, who posted, finally, and I'm not going to read it, but it's basically, it says, finally, New York City is coming to Islam. Dogs are unclean. They should not be indoor pets. Now, people don't know this, and I'm not criticizing Islam for this. They don't like dogs. I'm Jewish. We don't eat shrimp. I mean, different religions believe different things. The problem is that they want to compel us to live in a way that we do not want to live. And so my post was very simple. It said, if you make us choose, if the Mamdamis of the world make us choose between having our pets and having them live near us who have come to this country and don't want us to have our pets, they can go home. Now, I told you I am afraid about the future of the country. I'm not afraid to be blunt. And I also know how to start a conversation. And that is what this did. It got people talking. What's extraordinary is people aren't talking about what's going on in New York. People weren't talking about comments like this. People weren't talking about the call to prayer not being broadcast at 5 o'clock in the morning in New York. People weren't talking about the kinds of people he is putting into office. People aren't talking about what is to come. Now they are talking, and I think that's an important conversation to have, because we're America. We love our dogs, and no one's going to tell us that we can't have them.
So what was she talking about? What is she saying, this lady right here? What is she referencing?
In Islam, they don't like dogs. Dogs are not halal. They are haram. Muslims generally don't have dogs as pets. They don't like them. And I'm not criticizing it. This is just a simple fact. Hindus like cows. Jews don't like pork. It's just part of the faith. And she is saying, and she's an important Muslim leader in New York, and she is saying something very clear. If it's up to me, we're getting rid of your dogs as pets. 65% of American households own a dog. And if you want to come to this country and be a part of America, as all of us did, that's great. But you don't get to move here and then demand that we change how we live. And this is crazy. The Democrats have said for a long time, if you won't let anybody who wants come to America for any reason, you're a racist. Then it was, if you don't let anybody who wants to come to America and have all the free stuff they want, free housing, free food, free health care, you're a racist. Now what they're saying is if we won't change how we live to accommodate newcomers who don't like dogs, you're a racist. And I would last say this. I have been criticized by dozens and dozens and dozens of Democrats for what I said. Not one of them has said, I disagree with the way you phrased it, but in America, I'm going to make sure you have the right to own a dog. Not one of them. You know why? Because they know that this group of people exists that don't want us to have dogs, and they do not want to offend them.
And this is AOC. This is generally one of the most disgusting statements I've ever seen issued by an American official. It should not stop shocking us that the Republican Party openly embraces this. Fine should be censored and stripped of committees. To ignore this is to accept and normalize it. By the way, does AOC have a dog? I'm curious. Can you check to see if AOC has a dog?
And how many of AOC's constituents own dogs? And I'd point out this. When her colleague, Ilhan Omar, said some people did something on 9/11, where people actually died, that wasn't disgusting and horrible? I mean, the problem is there's this desire to cater to this viewpoint, to not offend, to say that we must submit. I don't care how people live. I don't care what your religion is. Practice it in freedom, practice it in peace. But what they're trying to do to me is the first step on the path to the story that you told. It will start with you can't have dogs. And then it will be you can't eat certain things. And then it will be you must cover yourself. And then it will be submit or we're going to do what they did to you. That is the issue that we are up against. And I am willing to have that conversation, as are many of my other colleagues, which is to say, this is the United States of America. If you want to come here, that's great. Live how you want. Live in peace and freedom. But you don't get to tell us how to live.
And by the way, just do a quick fact check. Rob, phenomenal job as usual. AOC does own a dog. His name is Deco, a French bulldog, and she introduced the puppy in early 2020s. And anyway, she has a dog. But do you not think this gives the other side ammunition? Do you think this doesn't get the other side to say, look what these Republicans are all about? They compare Muslims to dogs, and they think Muslims are below dogs. Do you think that is something where even, a community that supports you might say, Randy, what are you doing? What are you saying?
I don't. I think you have to be willfully sort of ignorant to take that view, because I put up in my post her comment. So it was obvious what I was responding to. But you know what the number one reaction I've gotten to people since I've made the post has been? When people call me, they say they don't like dogs. Like people can't believe it. Like, who doesn't like dogs? I think we have this problem in this country that we believe that we're all one giant human family, that we all share the same values, that we're all the same, and we can sit around the fire and solve everything. That's not necessarily true. There are different cultures believe in different things, and sometimes, as Charlie Kirk said, certain cultures are incompatible with ours. And I would make the argument that those people who think that we shouldn't have dogs, there are many countries where you can go that do that. But this is not an outlandish thing. In Morocco, they're shooting 3 million dogs. In Judea and Samaria, the mayor paid a $5 bounty for every dog that you killed. There's a video that's circulating of right here in South Florida of a woman walking her dog and a Muslim immigrant who didn't even speak English, basically coming up and putting his finger across his throat if she didn't walk away with her dog. This is a commonly held view, and I think raising up awareness of what we are up against is an important thing. I am not saying, and I don't think it's fair to interpret my comment as saying Muslims are lower than dogs. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if I have a choice.
That's what it sounds like.
Well, I think that's how it sounds. That's what some people interpret.
Well, I mean, if you want to go back to it, I mean, I don't want to be a jerk
choice,
here, but if they force us to choose between dogs and Muslims, you choose dogs.
If they force us to choose. If they force us to choose, that's the issue. Women like this Nerdine person want us to choose. She's saying you can't have your dog. And I'm saying if I have to give up my dog, you can leave. The important part of the phrase is don't make us choose. Come here, practice your religion. Whether I like it or not, do what you want in peace. But do not force the rest of us to submit to your philosophy. No, I don't think any human being is lower than anyone else. But I also think the fact that I don't eat pork doesn't mean that I should tell the grocery store they can't sell it. And I think that is the issue that we have in our society. Living in peace does not mean you have to submit to the views of your neighbors.
Fair enough. One thing about Vinny that I love, he's becoming a great example to everybody around here, and that includes myself. I'm so proud of Vinny. Yesterday, we're having dinner with two of our friends, Brian and Tom, who were there with us, and we had dinner. You saw them earlier. You were speaking to them. And he says, how'd you guys meet Vinny? And I started telling the story about Vinny, where he went to, where he's at right now. Life-changing what this man has turned into. Vinny, share with us what you got going on.
Pat, I love you, and thank you. God literally saved me, and I'm here now because God, the story was, saw Pat on Instagram, clicked on it, saw that he was a Syrian. I just lost 2 friends to fentanyl poisoning, not overdose because they didn't. And God got me to where I am right now. And for you guys that know, my biggest thing is faith over fear and having faith in Jesus Christ. Last week, James Vanderbeek had that message where he said, I was facing death nose to nose, and he looked so comfortable and so happy. We forgot that, I don't know if you guys remember, on February 15th was the anniversary of 2015 when the ISIS soldiers, whatever, terrorists, whatever you want to call them, were in Libya, and they captured 20 Christian construction workers, put them down. Rob has a photo in orange jumpsuits, put knives to their heads, and they said, if you guys right now convert to Islam, we won't behead you. And these 20, I knew this was going to happen, 20 construction workers said, this is what they said. They said, no, I love you, Jesus Christ. And they cut all their heads off. I know I talk about faith over fear. That right there is, these are construction workers, Pat. They're not priests. They're not the Pope. They're not, these are just regular guys that all sat their hands tied behind their back and they said, nope, we believe in Jesus Christ. That is the epitome of faith over fear. God bless them. God rest their souls. And that is it. Because Jesus said, by the way, John chapter 14:6 said what, Tom? I am the way, I am the truth, and I am the life. Nobody gets to me except through the Father, except through me, through Jesus Christ. Period.
Absolutely. People, they were in fear at that time. There was early persecution going on. If you were a Jewish person at that time and you were now listening to Jesus, the Jewish leaders of the time were like, this rabbi here is a heretic. He's saying things that are way out of bounds, and persecution started, and they were scared. They were scared. And that same passage where he says, I am the way, right before that, he says to Thomas, he said, do not let your hearts be troubled. I am with you. And it takes strength. It takes strength in knowing where eternity is, to sit there and to as Christ did on the cross, just to give it up and saying, look, I am not going to betray my Savior. I am not going to be the heretic on this side. And it says, take my life if God allows you to take it. Because if you do it, God is only permitting it, not causing it.
I love it, Tom.
Yeah.
I love it. Vinny.
So yeah, and that was it. And I just want to make sure I'm the way, I'm the truth, the life. No one gets to the Father through me. And it's just that right there is the epitome of faith over fear. And I just can't. It's almost as if every week something else is happening that's proving it and showing it. And I pray that I have that much faith if it ever comes down to it. And I pray that I get it.
Got it. Awesome. And by the way, I love seeing the faith over fear hats, shirts, everything that you got. If you feel the same way, go to vtmerch.com. Place an order for yourself, your family, and your friends. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.